Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our CarTech how-to video on the 2023 Mercedes Benz EQB 350 4MATIC, and this is a pinnacle trim level. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll also do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Sears Imported Autos, selling beautiful Mercedes Benz in Minnetonka, Minnesota.
All right, so the driver's information screen is one of the 2.25 or 10.25 inch screens. The center infotainment screen is the same size, and it's encased in one piece of glass. Looks very nice. So what is on this? Well, there's a lot of things, and to control all that stuff, you're going to use the controls on the left side of the steering wheel. Specifically, you're going to use this little scrolling button. It's like a trackpad, and a home button right here. So I'm going to press the home button right here. All right, so we're going to go over here, and we're going to start with assistance. It tells you how far you are from the car in front of you. If you turn your cruise control on, you're going to notice a little icon show up at the top of the screen in gray to let you know that it's on. And then, of course, if you set it, then you can adjust the distance between you and the next car. Got a nice little graphic for that. Okay. And then if I scroll through, okay, right now the attention level is suspended because we're parked. Okay, and if I go down one more, I can change these displays to more of a full screen. And there you go, which is really cool, and I'll show you that on the different screens. All right, I'm going to hit home button for a minute. Okay, and I'll hit home again. All right, then I'm going to go over one to the phone. Okay, I don't have a phone hooked up, but this is where it would show up. So we'll hit the home button again. Navigation. So you can, right here, you can have a map display right here. So when you got a course plotted, it shows up in here. And then the cool thing is if you go down to here, hit display again, it becomes more of the full screen. And it minimizes all the gauges, gives you the basics, which I think is just really, really cool. All right, so we're going to go back here. You can also, of course, access previous destinations from here, and then it's a compass, digital compass in the middle. All right, we're going to hit that home button again. We're going to go down to trip information. Now here you've got several pages, so I'm just going to go to the top. Here we go. So it tells you how many miles you've driven there, and a digital speedometer. You've got your consumption for electricity. And then over here, you get it's going to rate your acceleration and your coasting. It's like a kind of like a visual guide to how you're driving. And then from start, how this last time you started, how far you've gone, and how many minutes or hours it's taken you. You've got your average consumption down there, and then your average speed. Go down one more. This is from reset. So the last time you reset this, okay. And the other one was from start. And then if you want to see that in full display again, you just click here, and then you get this nice graphic display, which I really like that they've added that. That is really cool. All right, I'm going to press home button again. Here's where you can access your radio controls. So if I go here, if I scroll down, I can change the station. Okay. Over on the right side of the steering wheel is your volume control. All right, I'm going to go, if you want to see sources, you're going to click that trackpad again, and then you can switch between your different sources. All right, I'm going to hit the home button here. Now, media, of course, is a separate button, and there's no device connected, but if you had something connected via USB or via Apple CarPlay, that would show up here, and that is a wireless connection, by the way, for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And then you can control it from there. All right. Now here's some ways you can change the design and display of the driver screen here. So if I click here, let's go up to classic. We'll wait a second. Now it also changes the infotainment screen, which is interesting. So here it is. All right. So what we're doing is just kind of changing the colors and the graphics in the background. So let me go back to that. That was classic. This is sport. And then if I go back again and go to progressive, Here's what we get. And then if I go back again, I do wish it would kind of stay on that designs and display. That would be kind of nice. Understated. Okay, takes off a lot of the information, so it's not so much information to look at one time. Hit the back button here. You'll notice that there is a little bit of a red glow on the left side of the miles per hour gauge on the left, and a little bit of red on the gauge on the right. And so that means that I'm controlling this stuff in the middle, but you can swipe left. So once I'm there, you'll notice the little red dots at the top. That means I have several screens, so I can change this gauge. And that is just cool. I love it when you can change inside the gauges, which allows you to kind of organize the information on your screen as to where you want it. Okay? If I go back here and I swipe to the right once, swipe to the right again, now I can scroll through and change this one. So it's a lot of the same information we've seen from the center part of the screen. A few additional things like that's the G meter. We didn't see that before. Okay, but it really allows you to customize your dashboard according to how you want it set up and what you want to see, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, we'll hit the home button again. And then, of course, you have a service button here if you want to look at your service record. But if I scroll up, I'm on the heads-up display, which just has a very nice 8-inch heads-up display. So if I click up here, now my heads-up display, and it shows up in 3 squares. Okay, and my first one, if I just scroll up or down, it changes from a compass to kilowatts per hour to a G-force meter to empty or blank. So you got a couple of choices. If I swipe over to the right, then I can change the digital miles per hour to nothing, digital miles per hour, or digital miles per hour along with an analog looking digital gauge. And if I swipe over to the right, then I can go to an empty box. I can go to lane keeping assist, cruise control, and then another blank screen. Now, on any of these, if you slide over one more to the right, like for instance on the last box, I get a gear wheel. And this is where you can adjust things like brightness. And then if I press the button, then I can say what I want. Do I want to see announcements, assistant status, phone, audio, and you can uncheck or check mark any of those or none of those or all of those. In the very left box of the HUD, when you're doing this, if I press it again, if I scroll over one more time, I actually have a power button and I can actually turn the HUD off, which I've never seen before. It's a really neat way to adjust the information in the HUD. So that's it on the driver's information screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, so the infotainment screen is another 10.25 inch screen. It is a Burmester surround sound system with 16 speakers and 650 watts of power. It has, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It's got FM radio. It's got Sirius XM. And, of course, you can hook in a Bluetooth phone, or you can use a USB if you want. Now, in addition to that, of course, it's got navigation, and it's got augmented reality navigation, which is really cool. All right, so you can control it 3 ways. You can control it from the steering wheel right here. This trackpad, the back button and the home button. You can control it from the trackpad down here, or you can touch the screen itself. At the top, of course, you've got a home button, and if you click that, you just come to this screen again. All right, and so what we're going to do first is just go ahead and hook up a phone. So if I go here and click, and I am down on connect device, and I click that, take my phone, make sure Bluetooth is turned on, and then scroll to the bottom of the devices I have connected to Bluetooth, and I will see the MBUX 26843, and I click on it. It'll ask me if this is the same number as on the screen. My phone says, yes, it is. So I'm going to click yes there, or I could just click the trackpad too. And it says, do you want to allow your contacts and favorites to sync? If this is your car, you want to click allow. If it's, because it's not, I'm going to click don't allow. But there we go. And we are connected via Bluetooth at this point. Okay, down here you've got recent calls, contacts, and then add favorites. So you want your keypad, you go down here. Contacts again, here's your keypad right here. Just press on it. Then you can use the trackpad to scroll around and dial your number if you want. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button here. Now right here, if I click, this is where you can adjust your devices here. Like, for instance, if you don't want it for phone calls, you can disconnect that. Okay, now it's only going to play Bluetooth media. Or you can do vice versa, leave it connected to phone, and then disconnect the music part of it. Well, why you do that, I don't know, but you've got those options. And these three dots, I can disconnect or deauthorize. And then I can also go over here and connect a new device if I want. So a couple different ways to connect that new device. I'm going to hit back here. I'm going to hit back again because I didn't want to jump that far. So that's phone. Now you'll notice that each of these icons on the screen have two circles underneath them. You'll also notice as I get my hand close, it gets larger. So there's a sensor up above that senses when your hand is close, and it just kind of makes it just a little bit larger for you to see that that's the one that you're closest to connecting to. All right. What those little buttons are down there is their shortcuts. Okay. So down here would be contacts. Okay. And because I told mine not to connect, that's the only one it has. I'm gonna hit the back button. And if I hit the back button one more time and go over to this one, okay, that's going to bring up recent calls. So each of these has two shortcuts underneath it. All right, so that's phone. Navigation. Oh boy, what a neat system. All right, this would be the one system where even though I had wireless Apple CarPlay, I probably would choose to use this one. So the augmented reality is cool. So anyways, all right, so shortcuts right here. If I go to the flag, it's going to want me to program in a route. Okay. However, I'm going to hit the back button here, hit the back button again. Now let's go to home. Okay. If I go here and click, I could set an address for my house. Right. I'm not going to do that right now, but the easiest way to plot a course is to use the voice command. And you don't need, there is a voice command on the button on the steering wheel that you can tap, but the easiest thing is just to say the magic phrase. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
Navigate to the closest Dairy Queen.
Here is what I found.
Number 1.
Let's go.
And I like it that it actually starts the course for you. You're going to notice that it has a little arrow on the front, and it's really cool on the augmented navigation because it not only gives you the street, the name, it gives you the arrows right on front of the screen, tells you where to turn. It's really, really nice. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
Cancel navigation.
Stopping route guidance.
So that is the easiest way to program a route. Now, over here, if I go down, that's where I can click if I want to type it in. Okay, I can mute the sound or unmute it. Well, that's muted there. Over here, I can see an overview of my route. I can look at alternative routes. I can look at a traffic incident report. I can adjust traffic, look at a route list, look at where I am. Lots of things you can do right there. I'm going to hit the back button. And all I did was just tap down on the trackpad to get this to appear. And then you've got some gear settings. So right here, I have traffic turned on, parking turned on. I don't have my range turned on. So I'm going to turn that on so that when I program a route, it's actually going to tell me some information about my range. Under Advanced, if I click, I can change map orientation. Okay. These different settings here, I won't go into them, but that's where they are. Map elements. So, like, what POI symbols do you want showing up? Okay, first of all, I have display POI showing. That's turned on. I can turn that off completely. Okay, I want EV charging stations. I want parking. Perhaps I would like restaurants to show up. Rest areas, all these things you can click on or off. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. You can turn on a satellite map if you want. All right, so just if I go down, there's traffic incidents are turned on, free flowing traffic is turned on, delay traffic. So this is where you can turn all those things on or off. I'm just gonna hit up here, augmented reality. Oh, you're gonna want this on. So it'll read street names or not read street names. Down here, it'll read house numbers or not read house numbers. Okay, traffic light view. Yep, you can have that off or on request or automatic. Okay, then if I go back again, okay, down under here you can get set text information. If you want it for the highway, you can have it. You can have next intersecting street, easy for me to say. On the footer, you can have current street or geo coordinates, okay, or nothing, okay, and that would show up down at the bottom. Hit the back button. And that's the end of that. So lots and lots of ways that you can adjust that. Now, under here, under advanced again. Now, if I go up to the top, that's view. I can also go to announcements and I can say, I want no voice guidance. I want tone only or reduced driving recommendations. So it doesn't suggest something to you every 3 seconds. Okay, if I go up here and go to route, I can determine if I always want it to find the fastest route, the shortest route, the most economical route. If I want dynamic route guidance, automatically turned on, only on request or off. Hit the back button. Things to avoid on navigation. Well, if you want to avoid highways, you can turn that on, or ferries or tunnels or unpaved roads. So lots of really cool things in the navigation. All right, radio. So I'm going to click here. And you've got all of your presets right down here. Okay, and this will be FM radio and Sirius XM. Okay, now if I go over here and I want to set this, I click and hold, and now it's set. So I just clicked and held the trackpad. Okay, I can also go right up here if I want to change stations, and I just keep swiping to the left or swipe to the right. And I can change stations that way. If I go down here, I can look at stations. Okay, I can actually type in a station name or a frequency. Okay, just by selecting the number pad if I want. Okay, I'm gonna hit the back button right here. If I click this, then I can get just a listing of FM radio stations. Can also look at emergency warnings. Okay, there's nothing out right now. And then if you go into the settings, this is where you can get to your sound. So with that beautiful 650 watt, 16 speaker sound system, you can adjust the equalizer, balance and faders, sound focus, sound profiles. Okay? And all you do is just go over here, use your trackpad or your hand on the screen, and you can adjust all of these. I'm gonna hit the back button, and all right. So if I go backwards here, the back button, I can slide over to media, right? So this is connected via Bluetooth right now. So I got the same thing. I can look at the list of music that I have, current track list, or I can look at my music. I can look at playlists if I want. Or I can look at the current track. All right, I'm gonna hit the back button here. All right, you can change tracks again just by clicking, swiping left or swiping right if there are additional tracks, which in that particular list, that's all I have. You can also switch up here to USB if you want. Okay, so let's hit the home button. Okay, so now under media, I'm going to show you how to hook in or get Apple CarPlay going, or it'd be the same for Android Auto, but you have to plug into the USB-C plug-in that's in the center console, and then just plug it into your phone, wait a second, And it's going to pop up, and I'm going to say accept and start. And it's going to start Apple CarPlay. And then on my phone it says, do you want to allow CarPlay with the system while the phone is locked? Allow. You want to allow that, because otherwise, if you lock your phone, it won't. And it says Bluetooth audio now is disconnected, and that's true because it's all going through Apple CarPlay. So real quick, if I go to Apple CarPlay here, okay, here's where my phone is. I can look at favorites, recents, contacts, keypad. So anytime I go to phone, if I go home, if I go over to phone and click, it's going to bring up Apple CarPlay, and yes, that's what I want to use. Okay, if I press, I can get that split screen, which you can now get in Android Auto, thanks to one of our viewers who let us know that, because I use an Apple phone, but Android Auto now gives you a split screen, which is awesome. All right, if I click that same button again, I can view all of the apps. And you'll notice that I have Apple Maps here. I've got Google Maps. I have got Waze. So almost any navigation app you like is going to be there. Also, I got my audiobooks. I got TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Apple News here, and then Messages, which is really nice because it'll read them to you. And then you can respond verbally, which is just really cool. Your most recently used apps show up right here, and then your phone tends to stay right there. Now, you can also hold the voice command button for a little bit and access Siri or your Google Assistant like this. Siri, open Google Maps. And there you go. All right, so we'll go up here, and we're going to go over to Comfort. Say on Comfort here, you have seat kinetics, which are just they're designed to keep you awake and alert while you're driving. Okay, and you can just slide over to here and hit play, and it starts to adjust the areas that you see in the screen. Okay, and then over here, same thing for the passenger seat. Now you can go up and change those under settings. You can just say I want backrest and seat surface, just the backrest. Just the seat surface here, and then how long it is, short, medium, or long. And you can do that for both seats. And then if I go up here and go swipe over to ambient lighting, boy, you've got lots here. Okay, so under colors here, it's going to allow you to select multicolor animation, a welcome effect, and then here are different colors. So I've got ocean blue, I got purple sky, red moon, fire red, I mean, all of these. Okay. That is just really nice. And on the EQB, you do get this special LED lighting strip in the dash that is not on, that is special to this particular model. All right. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit the back button again. So we got this special screen in the EQB. And you've got a couple of things that you can see. So first of all, if I just go up and over, we'll start with charging options right here. So here's where you can set things. So like for instance, your charging station search. You can set a departure time so that if you do that, it'll be charged to a certain level when you get in there. Right? And then you can say pre-entry climate control. And you can turn that on, and then you have to set a departure time first, and then your car will all be warmed up or cooled down for you when you get in. Charging programs, you can set a couple. You can have a standard, you can have a home one. You can see a cool gauge of what you're doing. For instance, from the start, I've used an average of this many miles per kilowatt hour. Driving has consumed that much, heating and cooling have consumed that much, and other consumers in the car are that much. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much the systems in your car are drawing from the battery. There's a really nice gauge here. You can look at energy flow while the car's driving, and you can see a nice little graphic. If I go over to vehicle, Then I can see my accelerating and my braking, how much it's, what's my percentage there and what's my percentage for braking. Of course, this does have regenerative braking on it, which is really nice. If I go down here, you've seen this in a couple of our screens, and I click it, it just makes it the full screen. All right. All right, I'm gonna hit the home button here. We'll go up, and finally we'll get to settings. So down here, you got the electronic stability program, which basically you can just turn on or off. Okay, then if I go up here, go down here, you have got lane keeping assist on or off. Orange means it's on. You can another spot you can turn the HUD on or off. I love it that they give you the little graphics that change. Up here you've got parking sensors, front and rear, and then down here you've got active steering assist, on or off. All right, back up here, let's go over to assistance. This is loaded with safety features on this particular thing because this is the pinnacle trim level. All right, active lane keep assist, all right? On, off, or warning, okay? That's gonna help you keep in your lane. It's gonna steer the car gently, left or right to keep you centered. Active brake assist. That is a nice feature here. You can have that early, medium, late, or off. So I'd leave that early if I could. Attention assist. That's when you're driving around and it thinks you're getting sleepy. It'll give you a suggested rest time that you should pull over. Hit the back button. Traffic light view, automatic, on request or off. That's going to be on the navigation. Go back. Go over to vehicle quick. Dynamic select. So this is where you can configure your own driving mode. If I go in here, I can configure the drive to these three things. Or I can go back and I can go to adjust the steering to these two. And I can adjust the electronic stability program to one of these two. All right, I'll go back here. Automatic seat adjustment. Hey, easy entry exit. I'd leave that on. What that does, this vehicle has a manual tilt and telescope, but what it'll do is it'll push your seat back all the way when you shut the car off to make it easier for you to get out. And when you get in and start the car, it'll pull the seat back up to its memory setting. That is a really nice feature. I'd recommend leaving that one on. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, light. Daytime running lights. You can turn those off, but there's an insurance savings, at least in most states, for having those. So I'd check on that and then I'd leave them on. All right, let's go up here a minute. Let's just go over to system quick. So under design and display, we've seen this before, but you can change it from here as well. And it's the same choices you had in the driver's information screen. The difference is you can have the ambient lighting adjustment right there. Go back, display brightness. Okay, this is where you're going to control the brightness of the whole display. Okay, so it's digital, a little inconvenient, but at least it's there. Now you can turn the display off if you just want it off completely. Okay, and if you just press any button again, it comes right back on. Day-night design. All right, if you leave it automatic, then the screen's going to get a little dimmer at night, so it isn't glaring in your eyes, and at day it's going to get a little brighter. So I'm going to hit back again. You can adjust the voice assistant if you want. Right now it's activated. If you don't want it activated, you can turn it off. But then when you say, hey, Mercedes, nothing happens. You can use the voice command button then if you want. I prefer just to have that on. All right. Under phone here, you can set your ringtone. You can set your call volume, which is nice. Just click on there, click on the dot, and then you can say how loud do you want your call volume to be. That's interesting. Let me give you a little knock for example. Okay, you can adjust the voice output volume. You can adjust the acoustic operating feedback. You can read out handwriting ignition, and you can have voice amplification to the rear. Now, we've seen this in many SUVs. It's starting to be more common, but this will allow my voice to be amplified to the people in the back. Back here, and then we're to the bottom of the list. So if I go back one more, you can adjust Wi-Fi and Bluetooth here. I won't go to that. This is where you set date and time. Okay, back down, you can change the language here. Okay. Down here is where you can change units like from kilometers per hour to miles per hour and so forth. You can look at system info, and if everything goes wonky, you can always press the reset button to reset the whole system. So that's it for the infotainment screen on the 2023 Mercedes Benz EQB 350. And again, this is the pinnacle trim level. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.